Hello everyone, welcome back to the chat. And today's session of turning coffee into code, we are gonna try to learn object-oriented programming, which is in Python. So let's fire up our VS Code session, and then we will head over to code, and let's try to finish the whole video today in YouTube. So everyone, those who are in the chat, drop a hi in the chat so that I know peop whoa, who amazing people are here. And a big shout out to everyone who were always with me, who were always there for me.
And to learn. When in reality, you actually see objects all the time when you're working with Python code, and you just don't know that they're objects, just because they're a little bit disguised, and I'm going to kind of take away that disguise.
Okay, so what this tutorial says is that everything in Python is essentially an object, and we are always working around with objects, no matter what we know about it or not. So So yeah, let's head over next into the next part of the
And
video.
show you what all these different objects are. So we may have heard of the notion of type before. We see this function type, and we know when we ask it what type a certain variable is, or we ask it what type, say, a string is like this, it spits out an answer to us. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So if I do print type of hello, so we know that hello is a string data type. Let's just see what we get in our console down here. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. We get class string. So notice that this says class. Now, most people just disregard the fact that it says this, but this is actually very important. What this is telling us is this right here, this string that we typed in, is actually an object of the class string, right? str. Now, what do you think is going to happen when I put in x? Well, we know that x is an integer, so let's have a look here. And we can see that we get class int.
Okay, so what I learned from this is that everything in Python, like literally everything in Python, is an object, and the commands which we use are also object.
So notice that these different data types that we've called them before, a string and an int, are actually a part of a class. And what that means is, even though it doesn't look like we've created an object, when we do something like x equals 1, we've said x is equal to the object, which is a type integer with the value 1. That's exactly what we've done. And the fact that we actually create these kind of objects is very important in writing Python code. And I know this hopefully shouldn't confuse any of you too much, but if I write, say, a function, so, define hello, and in here we just print hello like that, and what I decide to do is I go, okay, let's look at the type of hello. So notice I didn't call the function hello with the two brackets. I'm just looking at the actual name of hello, and we run this. Well, if we add the final bracket at the end here, we get class function.
Okay, so every data type is kind of also like a class in Python. So if we ask the type of a function, then it is gonna return as a function.
So pretty much everything in Python that we work with is actually an object of some kind of class. And later on in the video, what we're going to do is make our own classes so that we have our own specific types. So these are what are called the built-in types. These are built into the Python language, and that's why they work a little bit differently than other classes that we'll work with later. But just understand that whenever you create something in Python, you are really creating an object, which is an instance of a specific class. And that class defines the way in which that object can interact with other things in our program. And to show you what I mean by that, let's just look at some common error messages and we'll see exactly what that means. So we're going to say x equals 1, y equals hello, and watch what happens when I try to do something like print x plus y. Well, we get some error. Let's go up and see here. We get type error, unsupported operand types for plus, int, and string. So it's saying, because our object x is an int and our object y is a string, we cannot add them because the program does not know how to work with objects of those two types. Or in better words, the addition operation is not defined for objects of int and objects of string being added together. So it's very important, and pretty much the type that we have defines what we're allowed to do with a specific variable or with that specific object. And it denotes the actions that we can perform, plus, minus, all of that. If I were to change this right to 2, and then we just do x plus y, I don't need to print it out, we can see that that's totally fine and there's no issue because these are both ints, which means that operation is defined for them. Okay, so hopefully that is clear and that makes...
So you want to be a software engineer at Google? Go to algoexpert.io. Pick a question. Read the prompt.
Hopefully that is clear and that makes some sense. I hope that gives you kind of understanding of what I mean by objects. And now I'm going to talk about methods because those are something that we can perform on objects. So I'm sure that many of you have seen this before. I'm just going to type string equals hello like that. And many of you know that we can do something like print string, if I can type this correctly, dot upper, right? So when I write this dot upper.
Okay, so we all know that we have string methods like string dot split and string dot strip. So what I learned is that here string is a class. When we create a value variable named string, then it is a class, and to that class, the dot upper that we do, that is a method for that class.
Here, what is that actually doing? Well, let's look at here. We obviously know that puts that all to uppercase, but we're allowed to use this what we call method, and this is a method. Whenever you have this dot operator, you have some name, and then you have the 2 brackets at the end here. And
Okay, so almost always whenever we see a dot or a period in beside the any variable name or in function name, it's almost always a method of that function or a method of that class.
maybe there's some arguments that go inside of there. That is usually a method that is acting on a specific object. And in this case, what it's doing is we have the method upper acting on the object of type string that is stored in this string variable. And the reason we're allowed to use this method on it is because this is a string. Now notice that I can't do something like, x equals 1 and then do x dot upper. And the reason I can't do that is because, well, it's going to say right here, int object, notice int object has no attribute upper. So these methods, these different operations, the things that we can do with these objects is based on the type of class that they are. So that's something that we really need to nail in there, and I hope that makes sense. And now what I'm going to show you is how we can actually create our own classes, because hopefully that gave you a good enough explanation for what objects really are. So to create our own class, I'm going to kind of do like a template here, and then we'll go back through and discuss what everything's doing at once, but just try to follow along for now. So I'm going to say class, and we're just going to do the classic kind of animal example to start here. So I'm going to say class dog, and I'm going to define this initialization, which we'll talk about later. And actually, no, let's not even do that. Let's just say define bark like that. And then what I'm going to do in here is simply print bark. Okay, so what I've actually done here, and I know this is going to be weird for many of you that have not seen this before, is created a class called dog. What this...
Okay, so essentially we can create any type of class, and let's define class as a type of object, and an object can have various types of attributes. Let's say a dog can have legs. So here we have a class named dog, and it can have various functions like a dog can bark, a dog can sleep. So those functions or those verbs that the or any actions that the class can do or the dog can do can be classified as a method in this classes.
means is I'm going to make my own kind of blueprint now for any objects that are of type dog, and I'm going to start defining the operations that a dog is able to do. Now in this case, I've created a method. Now a method is essentially just a function that goes inside of a class. That's the easiest way to define it, and for our basic example right now, all of our methods are going to start with a parameter called self. And we're going to talk about what this self parameter means and how all this works later on, but let's kind of build our way up to that. So I'm going to say d equals dog down here. And what I've done when I did this here is I'm actually saying, okay, I'm going to have the variable d, and I'm going to assign it to an instance of the class dog. So this is class dog. Again, you don't need to know how this works right now. We're going to talk about that in a second. But when I write this line here and I put dog, which is the name of my class, and then 2 brackets like that, I am instantiating, right, creating a new instance of the class dog. So D is now going to be an object that is of type dog. And notice that we don't get any errors there. And when I decide to print out type of D,
Okay, so we can also assign classes to any variables, which is
we're
interesting,
going
I
to see
think.
that we get class underscore underscore main underscore underscore dog. Now, the reason we have these underscores is because this is telling us what module this class was defined in. Now, by default, the module that you run is called the main module. That's why we have these two underscores, main underscore underscore. But we can see that this is, again, an object of the class dog. And that means that whatever we define inside of here is going to be what is allowed, or the operations that can be performed by a dog. And one of those operations is bark. So this is a method. Remember, we've talked about methods just like .upper before. So if I want to use that method on an instance of my dog class, because this is an instance of the class dog, then what I can do is I can type, well, not .upper, but .bark, like that. So I can
Yeah.
call this method on my dog object again.
Okay, so we should try this out in our function or in our code, and hopefully we will know if it works. I mean, yeah, let's just try that because we just learned something, and the best way to learn is to apply it, I think. Okay, we will create a classes.py. My internet is kind of slow, I think, today. That is why it's taking a lot of time. And we have zero viewers today. I don't know why. Is everyone busy? Like, I definitely know people are having exams, but it's odd that nobody is joining in. Okay, uh, so I think my internet really sucks today. And the major cause behind that, I think, uh, is the location. It could be, but let's try. Let's just create a file. Okay, so let's delete everything. Why is no one joining in today? Is everyone busy? Like, that's honestly kind of rare. Unable to delete non-existent file. Okay, it doesn't exist. We will just create a new file named oops.py and let's go ahead. Let's create a class named dog and we will, let's say, create a function def bark print woof. Let's go ahead and run this. What the heck is going on today? Like nothing is sort of working. Any viewers, anyone drop a hello or hi in the chat? That would help me because it's a bit lonely in here because no one is there. But yeah, let's try to run this code. Okay, so it didn't give any output, which is like expected because we have not called it yet. Let's do d equals to dog and print dog dot bark. So it should work now, I think. Yes. I don't know why this says return, why this says none, but let's do return none here in that case. And it returns none again. Let's head over back to the tutorial to see if we did something wrong. Okay, so I think okay, we did the def bark and self in one.
dog class, because this is an instance of the class dog, then what I can do is I can type, well, not dot upper, but dot
Uh,
bark, like that.
Not
So I
sure
can
why is it
call
not
this
working.
method on my dog object, again, because it is of class dog, and I've defined a method that works for dogs. So when I do that, we can see that we get bark, and then it's still
Let's try rewriting that in case if it works. I see someone in the chat. Can you please drop a hi? Because I've been streaming for the last 30 minutes or 20 minutes without anyone, which is like really lonely. So if you are here, then please. Okay, okay, okay. We are not supposed to do this, I think. Let's assign the value dog to D and let's print D dot bark, which should do this, and it is returning none again. Let's let's go ahead and ask this to AIs. Someone is in the chat. Hi, brother or sister. Please drop a hello in the chat. Yeah. Okay, so we could have just called that function. That is the reason we don't need to print that. Like, let's go ahead and remove this. We can just do this, and first of all, let's remove the bracket. And yeah, it works.
For dogs. So when I do that, we can see that we get bark, and then it still obviously continues to print the type of that object. So this is what we're getting at here. So these are kind of how classes work. We name the class. Typically, the convention is to use an uppercase letter, and usually you go camel case. So you do like dog, like say you're going to do 2 words, you do like dog, hello, right? So camel case like that. And then inside of the method, or inside of the class, you can define a few different methods and operations that can be performed by this object. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say define, I don't know, let's just say meow. I know this is wrong because it's not a dog. And we'll talk about self in just a minute. But I can define another method here. And instead of printing something, I could say return, let's just say meow like that. So I don't necessarily need to print something. I can return something. I can have these methods take arguments. So maybe I have meow and then I put x, and maybe what I do is I return x plus 1 or something like that. So maybe let's just call this add. Call this add underscore 1. That'll be the name of our method. So I can return x plus 1. And then what I could do if I wanted here is I could say dog add underscore 1, put 5 there, and let's print out the value that we get. So let's have a look at this here. And we can see that we get the value 6. So we can make methods that have different arguments.
Okay, so let's try that. Uh, let's add another function. Double cursor just popped up. I don't, yeah. Let's not call it meow. Def1, we are gonna take x as an argument, and we will return x plus 1. So let's do d dot, or let's try dog dot add 5 if that would work. Yeah, it doesn't. So we only have one option, and that is D. And we have to print this also, obviously. Yeah, so this thing works, and I'm really proud of it.
Make methods that have different arguments associated with them or parameters, like I've put x here. And that just means that when I call that method, I need to pass in a specific value or specific values so that that can operate and that can work. So that is how the methods work. So now we're going to talk about self, but before we can do that, we need to talk about what's called the
So
init
this
method, which you
object-oriented
may have seen me
programming
typing at the beginning
stuff
before I
is
kind of gave up on
not
it because I
that
didn't want to get
hard.
that complex that fast. So right now we have two methods.
This object-oriented programming is not actually that hard, but yeah, if you learn it properly, then it's gonna be easier than it seems. And I'm being completely honest right now. It is not that hard as it seems.
Methods. We have this bark method and we have this add one method, and I hope those make sense on how those work. And now we're going to talk about this special method here. And by the way, this has 2 underscores. So it has underscore, underscore, and then a init, and then underscore, underscore. Now this is a special method, and what this pretty much allows us to do is instantiate the object right when it is created. So this method will be called whenever we write this line. So whenever we create a new dog instance by writing dog and then the 2 brackets, let me get rid of this down here for right now. This method will be called, and it will pass any arguments that we put in here. So maybe I put something like,
Okay, so now we are learning about the initialize method, and it helps us initialize the class, like let's say define the functions and define the methods and stuff. That's what I currently understood, but yeah, let's just go ahead and see what it is actually.
Tim in here, it will pass that to this method. So let's say that every time we create a dog and we want to give it a name immediately. So to create a dog, the criteria is that you must give it a name. Well, what we would do in here is we would put the parameter name, and then here we would pass in the name. So what we need to do though is, well, we're passing in this name. We need to store this in the dog object somewhere, right? We need to have this stored. We need to be able to access this. This is kind of the nice thing about objects, and this is where we're going to talk about attributes. But what we can do if we want to store this name is we can say self.name equals name. Now it's important to note that these don't need to match, but what we've just done here is we've created what's called an attribute of the class dog.
Okay, so we can assign attributes to it. Let's say, like, give names to the parts of dogs or whatever, however you want to understand this. So this is how it works. The self parameter should always be given. So apart from that, we are going to give it name, and then we will say self, which means the name of this dog will be given by whatever this. And let me tell you again, these can be different, like the name here which you can see and the name which you can see here. These can be different, but yeah, this and this one have to be same. So let's go ahead and try this. Let's put the name here, uh, Bob. Now we are gonna print the dog's name, d dot name should work. Okay, okay, let's try that again. That let's try this. Okay, so the variable which we have to store is given here. So like this one and this one can be same, but can't be same, but this one and this one have to be same. Like this one and this name, these two have to be same no matter what. You can name this one anything. So that's how it works. Yeah, that's how it works. Something makes sense now. And I think that's interesting. What do you guys think?
Don't need to match, but what we've just done here is we've created what's called an attribute of the class dog, which is name. So what this means is essentially every time we create a new dog object, we will pass a name through this parameter. So self just stays here to denote the object itself. So like every time one of these things is called, we will pass a reference to which object it was called on,
Okay. It just stores
so we can
reference.
access things for each specific object, and we'll talk about that more in a second. But here what I've done is define an attribute called name, which is equal to the name that we passed in. So what I'll do is immediately I'll just print inside of here the name so that we can see how this works. And notice that when I run this now, we get Tim printing out. So even
Okay, so whenever, like, no matter if we call this function or not, it always runs as soon as we declare a class. So here we have declared this class. So as soon as we declare it, it always runs. Let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, it should be okay now. Let's go ahead and restart it. I think something must be the problem here, but it's no big deal. We will just wait until it starts again. So we are here. It has started. Let's go ahead and retry the code which we were looking at. Yeah, this is it. So there's something weird going on today, and I don't know what it is. Like, there is no syntax highlighting here, which is really weird. And also, no one is joining today. I see one people though. I see one person. Hey, brother, if you can just drop a hello in the chat, then it will be really useful for me because I have been streaming to absolutely nobody for the past 36 minutes, and it has been really, weird and really boring. So, yeah, drop a hello in the chat, please. It will be really helpful for me. So, what we are gonna see here is, first of all, we will erase this block. Next, it should print the name Bob first and then print Bark. Let's change it to Bob. Sounds more doggish now. So yeah, let's go ahead. Okay. Mm, so once everything loads up, we will run this code. So let's go ahead. I'm actually
Is every time that any of these methods is called, kind of invisibly, you don't get to see it, the actual reference to this dog object is passed. So another instance of the class dog, except this time I name it Bill, right? And now we'll do the print statement again. So we'll say print name just to show how this works. And here we get
okay. So we can also create more dogs, like many dogs. So this is, let's say this is dog one. This is, uh, okay. Let's restart this. Today's day is really going very bad. Today is a very bad day, chat. Like everything is a disaster today. I feel very bad. Sorry if I sound a little bit too less energetic, but yeah, today is not going very well for me. I'm sorry for that. I see two chat. Hello guys, hello, how are you? Okay, so we are back, and Someone, I don't know why they liked the video, but yeah, that's not an issue. Like, if they do not like it, they can, like, definitely do it. Yeah, let's do this dog one and then dog two. Let's name this dog Papu. Let's go ahead and select the interpreter. Good code. Hello, Ajinkya. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much for joining the stream. I was really getting bored all this time because I've been streaming to absolutely no one for the past 40 minutes or so. So it was getting really bored. Thank you so much for joining in. It gave a lot of motivation to me. Thank you, brother. Thank you. You don't know that he was such a legend. Okay, so yeah, it prints the names and then let's go ahead and also do woof and then the name. Yeah, actually it should be name. And that throws an error. I think it would be self dot name, maybe. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that is. And let's make the second dog bark too. Everything is working pretty fine till now. Let's go ahead and try this. Yeah. So now let's create an age factor for them and a gender one for them. So let's do self dot age equals to age and self dot gender. Okay. And self dot gender equals to gender. Let's go ahead and change the case of this. Yeah. So let's print name and then age, and then we are gonna print gender too. Let's give the name Bob, and then its age should be 12 years, and its gender should be male, and this one it should be 11 years old, and its gender should be female. So we forgot to change this. Yeah. Now everything works pretty fine and absolutely as expected. So that is a good sign for us. Let's go ahead and watch the next part of the video.
We'll do the print statement again. So we'll say print name just to show how this works. And here we get Tim and we get Bill. So we actually have two different dog objects now, one named Tim and one named Bill, and they both store different names inside of their, instance, if that's what you want to call it. So let's just show how this attribute works. So the point of this attribute is that it's stored permanently for each specific object. So I can actually go ahead and go down here and print d.name after that's defined, and I can print d2.name like that. And when we look here, we can see that those names get printed.
So we can also do the differently, like separately. So we have this defined, and let's go ahead and print their names. So first of all, we are gonna comment out these because we don't need them. Next, let's do print dog1 dot name. Yes, it is working. And then let's go ahead and print the name of dog2, dog2 dot name. That definitely works too. Let's go ahead and print the age of them. Dog1 dot age, and then print dog2 dot age. Yeah, so that works. Next, let's do this.
Those
Finish
names
this.
get printed out, so Tim and Bill. And notice that I removed the print statement from up here. So these attributes, when we do something like a self, dot, and then anything that we want, we can call it whatever we want, is equal to some value, we can reference them later on, and we can reference them from methods inside of our class. So an example of that is something like, say, define get underscore name. So the first argument here is always going to be self, or the first parameter. And the reason for that is because we need to invisibly pass the actual, dog object itself so that we know which dog we're accessing when we're going to get, say, the name of the dog. So here we're going to say define get name, and all we're going to do is return self.name like that. So now rather than saying .name, we can call .get underscore name, which is a method, right? And we can do that down here as well, .get underscore name. And then we see that we get Tim and we get Bill. So that is the basics behind objects. Now, of course, I can make more attributes as well. So I could do something like age. So let's say my dogs, I want them to have a name. So let's say my dogs want them to have a name and an age. Well, what I'll do now is I'll say, okay, so in our initialization for dog, we're going to take a name and we're going to take an age. So we'll define the attributes in here. So self.age is equal to whatever age we passed in. And now, every time that I make a new dog object, I need to pass a name and an age. So this Tim will be an old dog here, Bill will be a young one, and we'll run this, and we see that we get no issue. And if I wanted to, I can go ahead and define another method here, so get age, and we'll return self.age like that. And then if we change this to get age, and we change this one down here to get age as well, what is the issue here? Oops, so I forgot to put myself in here. So notice what happened when I forgot to put myself, so that's actually a decent error to run into. I didn't put self in here as a parameter, and you can see, I know that's kind of messy here. It says get age takes 0 positional arguments, but 1 were given. So what does that actually mean? So it's saying it takes 0 arguments, which it did when I didn't have self here, but 1 was given. But I didn't give any arguments inside of the brackets. Well, that's because when we call a method, this, right, the actual dog object itself, immediately kind of invisibly gets passed to that method as the self.
Okay, so now let's go ahead and do all of this by ourselves from scratch again. So this time we are not gonna create a dog just because we have created it. Let's go ahead and create a car, and we are gonna initialize the car, and then self. Let's give this car a name. Let's give this a color. Let's give this a year, or maybe an engine. And engine here stands for engine type actually. So self dot name equals to, let's say, name, and then self dot color equals to color, and then self dot engine will be engine 2. That works. Now let's go ahead and move the car. Def accelerate. So we are gonna take the self, which should always be there, and the name, like which car we wanna move, and then we are gonna print moved self.name by kilometers. Now let's go ahead and convert this into an F string, and this is an formatted string now. Let's go ahead and initialize a random module. Uh, Kilometers equals to random, let's say from 50 to 231. Now let's go ahead and run this code. Okay, no error still till now. Now let's actually do something. Let's say car1 equals to, let's call the car class and give it a name which is mm, the name should be a string first of all, and the color should be a string too. Let's give this engine an integer because we want to know how many engines are there. Obviously, it is a one, but let's just assume we are in a world where there are multiple engines in a car. So let's go ahead and complete this. So let's do the color to yellow and the no, let's do the name. First of all is name. So the name will be Civic. The color will be white, and then let's give this a 12 engines. So next let's go and print the color of car1 dot color. Okay, so this definitely works. Let's go ahead and print the name. This works too. Let's go ahead and print engine, the number of engines it has, and it works too. Let's create multiple cars there. Now let's do car 2. Let's name this special YT. Hello brother, welcome to the chat again. I mean, it was really lonely until now, and just two people had sent a chat. So you mean a lot, brother special. Thank you so much. Let's, okay, special. So name any car that you like. I'm gonna keep the name of that car based on that. Like whatever car you like, I'm gonna name the car of this class that same name, just as a thank you. Special white. Sorry. For what, brother? Like, why are you sorry? You didn't do anything wrong, I think. Porsche 911. Okay, so let's name second car as Porsche 911. And what color would you like your Porsche, sir? Special whitey, what color would you like your Porsche? Let's give this variable name blue. Okay, sure. So let's name this after special whitey and let's give his car a blue color. Okay, sir. Now, how many engines do you want in your car? I mean, I know most cars have just one engine, but let's just assume Let's just assume we are in a world where cars have multiple engines. What are you coding? I'm not coding actually, I am just learning something. It is called object-oriented programming. So I'm learning object-oriented programming right now and I'm practicing that. So yeah, let's print special YT's car name dot name and we are gonna print this. Hmm. It should give out Porsche 911 and yeah, it works. Yeah, one engine. Okay, sure. Let's print his car's color. It should give out blue and it has given out blue. And let's print how many numbers of how many engines he has. His car has one engine. So that's definitely correct. Uh, let's accelerate his car. So special yt dot accelerate and let's give the name Porsche 911. Yeah, I know the basics of it. I mean, object-oriented programming is really important for everyone. Like, without it, no code is possible in production level. Okay, so let's accelerate it again. And this time it moved it by 155 kilometers. Let's accelerate again and 84 kilometers this time, 186. You know, fast fetch. Yeah, I know about fast fetch. It is like it tells us about a system, right? Which operating system, RAM and stuff. Let's go ahead and install fast fetch then. I am making a clone of it. Wow, interesting, brother. Share your project file with me once you are done. If you are wondering where to share it, then you can either share it to me in Instagram or in our Discord server in the project showcase channel. Try new fetch. Okay. The link to both like my Instagram and the link to Discord server is in the description. Hmm. It doesn't install because you know I'm not in a real Linux. It is just GitHub code spaces, which is like GitHub allows me to use their mm, servers to code. Also, what language are you using? Special? YT? Is it like C? Because for these kind of projects, C is the add feature that when you accelerate, you lose fuel. Okay, sure. So let's do another one. Fuel equals to rand integer. I'm learning C, but I know Python. I was learning C too, but you know, then exams came in the middle. And let's do fuel will be from 1 to 100. Hmm. Okay, you know what? Yeah, that's correct. Print uh, consumed fuel liters of fuel into accelerating. Why are you randomizing it? Because it looks better. Like getting the same results every time is kind of weird. That is why I'm randomizing it. Consume 78 liters of fuel into accelerating, and let's set base fuel to maybe 738, and let's print remaining fuel is base fuel minus fuel. The only thing I hate about YouTube Live is there is so much delay of messages to get to you. Yes, brother. I mean, yeah, that's the only, I mean, it is an issue. It is a problem, a big problem, in fact. But I do not have any other options because, in Twitch, I can't stream because it is specifically made for gaming purposes. And in Twitch, there are a lot of streamers, so there is a lot of competition there too. Maybe def add accelerate and remaining fuel minus 100. Okay, let's do it from minus 100 then. Okay, what? Yeah, let's remove YouTube now. We gotta restart the code space. That's really sad. I accidentally exited it. Maybe at def accelerate. Yeah, sure, brother. Let's just let it turn on and then I will implement that feature. By that time, let me just grab some water. Also, thank you so much, Special Whitey, for saving me from that huge crisis. That is complicated setup. Yeah, you are right, I think. Okay, so another complication just happened. My keyboard and mouse got disconnected and I'm not sure if it will reconnect again. Because lately I've been facing issues reconnecting it because my tablet's charging port is damaged. So most of the time it is just a gamble whether I will be able to stream or not. And I'm not getting any money from YouTube. So yeah, I am not able to fix this. Okay, so let's see. We were lucky today. That is why we were able to connect. Anyways, let's pray to God. Oh, you use adapters to attach a tablet. Yes, like uh, OTG and stuff, if you know that. Let me show you the whole setup. Let me just show you the whole setup thing. I have the picture in my Discord. Wait a second. By the time, because yeah, we don't need this base view. Yeah, that should be okay. Let's just send this and then whole setup basically, which I use to stream. I mean, it is not very good. It is not any good, in fact. It is really messy and stuff. As you can see this, the image which I sent right now, that is the one. Let's just wait for it to load. My internet is really slow. I mean, yeah, I do not even have a Wi-Fi though. I'm literally streaming. Why is it rotated? Discord username. It is a poet. It is a poet 1209. Let me show you. This is like my setup. Also, the Discord server link, this server recursion hub, it is mine, is in the description. You can join. And yeah, this is my username, Discord username. Yeah. Okay, so I was showing you guys my setup. This is the whole setup that I use. Just a bunch of old dirty but dusty keyboard, and this is the mouse which I have. This right here is my USB hub, and I connect the two USB. As you can see, it is this one is of keyboard and this is of the mouse, and I connect it there. And this cable that you see, it is connected to my tablet. So yeah, you guys. So when I actually say that I code, I do not have a PC, I mean it. I am not just saying that I do not have a laptop solely for the purpose of gaining more viewers. I'm saying this because some people have said that you are just doing this. Are you still there? Special? Okay. Can you try any other operating system and what are the tablet specs? Any other operating system? I do not have uh, like I can't try anything because this is from my father's company. This device belongs to an organization, so many things are blocked here. Like I can't install APK files here and I can't reset this. So yeah, that is the reason. And if we are talking about the specs, then let me show you. Let's head down and yeah, here you can see the device name. It's Lenovo Tab K10. And let's scroll down. It runs Android 12 and you can see this is a 4 GB RAM and 64 GB storage. The CPU is not any good either, like MediaTek MT8768T, it is not a very powerful one. So yeah, it just barely, I don't even know how it is able to uh, stream. Like I initially thought that this is not good enough for stream, but it can somehow. This thing have more resolution than my monitor. 1920 into 1200. It is called the WUXGA, and yeah, it is a little bit better than 1080p, but a little lower than 1440p. So it is in between that 1080p and 2K thing. Now every tablet, like any Android tablet, has this. Every tablet that you buy has this display. I mean, not only the resolution, mine is 1280 into 1024. I mean, there's not much difference between that. Apart from that, you have a PC and this is a laptop. I mean, this is a tablet. You must have a PC or a laptop. Aryan Gaming. Hello, bhai. Hello. Hello, Aryan bhai. की हाल चाल? Okay, so special YT. Let's try accelerating your Porsche 911. Consume 69 liters of fuel into accelerating. Remaining fuel is 31. Let's go ahead and change liters into percentage because that would suit more. Yeah, that works now. And that's just basically what it is. I will be back in 30 seconds. Okay, sure, brother, sure. एंड आर्यन गेमिंग का कहना है फाइंड फंक्शन के बारे में बताओ और इंडेक्स के बारे में भी भाई तुमको इंडेक्स के बारे में उसी दिन बताए थे हाँ बताया था तो भूल गया क्या इतना जल्दी अच्छा खैर चलो तुमको फाइंड फंक्शन के बारे में बता देते हैं पर बुक में पहला वर्ड का इंडेक्स 0 देता है सही तो दिया है बुक में बुक में हर चीज गलत नहीं है कुछ कुछ चीज गलत हाँ तो देखो मेरे पास एक स्ट्रिंग है, फाइंड फंक्शन का बता रहे, स्ट्रिंग ले लो, हेलो वर्ल्ड फ्रॉम पाइथन। तो हम लोग इसके मदद से क्या कर सकते हैं कि उसमें हम लोग एक कोई भी सब स्ट्रिंग मतलब कि देखो ये एक पूरा स्ट्रिंग है, उसमें से एक सब स्ट्रिंग मतलब उसका एक छोटा सा पार्ट, तो एक छोटा सा पार्ट खाली एक पाइथन वर्ड हो सकता है या तो फिर फ्रॉम पाइथन पूरा हो सकता है। जबकि पहला लेटर का देना चाहिए, पहला लेटर का देना चाहिए ना। वो लिस्ट का बात कर रहा है क्या? दो टाइप का इंडेक्सिंग मतलब वो हमेशा पहला ऑकरेंस देगा, जरूरी नहीं कि हमेशा लिस्ट ये लेटर देगा कि वर्ड देगा। हम तुमको बता दे रहे हैं। हे स्पेशल वाईटी, डू यू अंडरस्टैंड हिंदी स्पेशल? हाँ तो देखो फाइंड फंक्शन के बारे में बता रहे हैं। लेट्स से कि हम लोग को इसके अंदर फाइंड करना है कि वर्ल्ड मतलब कि हम लोग का ये जो स्ट्रिंग है इसके अंदर ये जो वर्ल्ड है कौन सा ऑकरेंस पे आता है। तो स्ट्रिंग मतलब कि वेरिएबल का नाम जिसमें स्ट्रिंग है, तो स्ट्रिंग डॉट फाइंड, यहाँ पे वर्ल्ड कर दो, इसको रन करो, देखो पाइथन फाइंड डॉट पाई। अच्छा इसको प्रिंट भी करो, प्रिंट प्रिंट। देखो सिक्स नंबर पे है, तो यहाँ से 0 1 2 3 4 5 6, तो सिक्स नंबर से स्टार्ट होता है वर्ल्ड, तो इसलिए वो दिया। अभी अगर हम बोलते फ्रॉम पाइथन, तो जहाँ से ये स्टार्ट हो रहा है वहाँ का देता, बस 12 नंबर सब काउंट करोगे तो 12 नंबर आएगा। अब इसके अंदर तुम और भी जैसे एक रेंज में फाइंड, तो लेट्स से हम लोगों की फाइंड कराना है कि 10th इंडेक्स और लास्ट इंडेक्स में कहाँ पे आ रहा है पाइथन, कहाँ पे आ रहा है फ्रॉम पाइथन, तो उस केस में हम लोग 10th और -1 देंगे। आई थिंक द stream just paused for a second right now, but that's not an issue. It just reconnects again. पाइथन फाइंड, हाँ देखो -1, क्योंकि उस रेंज में। अच्छा देखो एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज, अगर फाइंड मान लो कि यहाँ से हम पाइथन को खोजने बोले कि ये जो सबस्ट्रिंग है इसके इसके अंदर, कि ये जो सबस्ट्रिंग है इसके अंदर एप्पल खोज के दिखाओ। अब इस स्ट्रिंग में एप्पल वर्ड तो है नहीं, तो अब क्या, तो अब ये क्या रिटर्न देगा? -1 बता देगा, देखो -1 देता है, देखो -1 दिया ना। Yeah, it's pausing and I cannot go back in stream video. How, why does this happen that cannot go back? How, why, what is this new weird YouTube feature? अच्छा देखो आर्यन, आई मीन आयुष, तुम जो बोल रहे हो कि वो तुम्हारा लेटर नहीं देना चाहिए, मतलब वर्ड नहीं देना चाहिए, लेटर देना चाहिए, तो अब देखो हम एक लिस्ट बना रहे हैं, इस लिस्ट के अंदर हम 4 5 वर्ड डालते हैं। तो सबसे पहले मान लो हम पाइथन डालते हैं, और एक मान लो हम एप्पल डालते हैं, एंड देन लेट्स से वी ऐड हियर कार। सो नाउ कैन यू एक्सेप्ट माय डिस्कॉर्ड फ्रेंड रिक्वेस्ट? या श्योर ब्रदर, व्हाई नॉट? सो अब देखो हम इफ वी डू द print the 0th index from this list, then this is gonna give Python. Okay, like lists and strings are different, so that is the main reason. If I do let's say print, not here, let's say print list 1 0th index, then it's gonna print Python. See, It's gonna print Python, okay? Now, if I do this thing in, let's say, a string, let's keep the same words, Python, apple, and car. So if I print the zeroth index now, string 0, it's gonna print just 3. See? Okay, special YT, I have accepted your friend request. आर्यन गेमिंग, क्या आपको समझ आया? Hmm. So, do you know more Python than me? I don't think, but yeah. How much? I mean, till where have you learned till now? Special, just say like till where have you learned Python? Then maybe I can tell you if I know more than you or not, but most likely I don't think I know more than you because uh, I focus more on projects like on building than learning. So I try to master more than I can learn because I am a slow learner, that is why I take time to learn things. पर इंडेक्सिंग में हर एक लेटर का अपना इंडिविजुअल होता है ना, तो इस प्रोग्राम में इंडेक्सिंग में हर लेटर का इंडिविजुअल नहीं होता, उसमें हर आइटम का होता है। जैसे तुमको अगर हम बताएं लिस्ट में ये एक होता है, मतलब लिस्ट में ये एक होता है और ये पूरा एक होता है एप्पल, और ये कार एक अलग होता है, तो इसमें 3 आइटम है। वहीं अगर हम स्ट्रिंग में बोले तो इसमें जितना को लेटर है उतना काउंट कर लो, 3, फिर 5 8, और इधर से 6, 8 और 6 14 15, इसमें टोटल 16 को कैरेक्टर, लेकिन इसमें बस 3 को है क्योंकि देखो बीच में कॉमा है तो सेपरेट कर रहा है। लिस्ट में अगर तुम 0 प्रिंट करोगे तो पहला आइटम देगा, और यहाँ पे आइटम कॉमा से ये सेपरेट होता है। इसीलिए anyways, let's head back to our ops. Now let's create a class named what shall we create? Let's create a class named human. Inside, let's initialize the human, and we are gonna take the name. First of all, let's take self, then name, then maybe age and gender, and that's enough, I think. So let's declare the names and stuff. I am also planning to live stream, but I am shy. You can start by like without voice. I also started like that only. But then as people gradually start joining, then you can switch to voice. I mean, nobody's gonna judge you. You know, I was also very insecure about my voice, and I'm still insecure. But what I learned is, you know how your voice sounds in real life, but they do not. They would think that it is your natural voice. So it might look or hear weird to you, but it is not weird for them. It is natural or normal for them. Let's make this man cry. A green revolution, print a dot find green वाला देता है 0 काहे, जबकि a एक स्ट्रिंग है। क्योंकि ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन में जो पहला वर्ड है ग्रीन, तुम फाइंड ग्रीन कर रहा है ना, पहला वर्ड, पहला लेटर ग्रीन का जी है, और तुम अगर ए वेरिएबल में देखोगे ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन में, तो जी जो आता है वो 0th इंडेक्स पे आता है। हम तुमको करके बता रहे हैं। देखो तुम्हारा ए ही ले लेते हैं, चलो ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन। अब यहाँ पे तुम कर रहे हो ए डॉट फाइंड green. So notice that the word green, here green, the first letter is G. Okay, in the word green the first letter is G, so the G here is also in first, so that is why it returns 0. 0 इसलिए देता है क्योंकि ग्रीन लेटर का जो सबसे पहला लेटर है वो 0th इंडेक्स पे है। यहीं पे अगर हम एक मान लो एप्पल लिख दे पहले, एप्पल ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन, तो अभी ये कुछ और देगा। देखो अभी ये अगर तुम उस लॉजिक से देख रहे हो तो ये देना चाहिए 1, लेकिन देखना ये तुम्हारा देगा 7 या फिर 6 देगा, 7 देगा। प्रिंट 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 प्रिंट, बार बार प्रिंट भूल जाते हैं। ये 7 देगा, 6 दिया, अच्छा चलो सेम बात है। तो we can see that the output is 6 because the first instance or the first letter of this exists at the 6th index. But if we change this, let's say I remove the word apple, then you can see that G, the first letter which you are about to find, is in 0th index. That is why it happens. Okay, so yeah, let's make the man or human cry. Self and then name. So let's print formatted string. We forgot the curly braces. Self dot name is crying very loudly. Let me just change the mic from Bluetooth to tablet mic because that is better. I hope the sound quality is better now, but it's gonna pick up a little bit of noise too, like the noise from my keyboard. I hope that won't disturb you guys. So you learned about inheritance. That's difficult, brother. I just started object oriented programming today. I just started it today, so I don't even know much about inheritance. I've heard about it, that it inherits something from the previous class. Let's say we have a attribute here, so we can share that attribute to another class. But yeah, I have not tried that out yet. So definitely we will reach there, but slowly. Also, special YT, which country are you from? Are you from India? Or are you from somewhere else? America, Europe? Europe is not a country, but any country from Europe. Let's say self and age. So we are gonna print Pakistan. I see, Pakistan. Interesting, brother. Oh yeah, I do remember, you told me once. Sorry for forgetting. Okay, so I have completed drinking water. Let's continue. Let's do this f string and let's say human who is self dot age
years old is standing. Yeah, you from which city? I am from Ranchi. It is in Jharkhand, like beside West Bengal. Jharkhand is a state beside West Bengal. I am saying this like this because not many people recognize Jharkhand. That is why. Uh, let's say one with gender. If gender equals to male, then print a man named self.name is sleeping. And then if the gender, let's just turn that into else. Print formatted string, a woman named self dot name is sleeping. Okay, let's go ahead and declare these men and women in every object. So human1 equals to human. Let's give them a name Akshay, and let's make them 34 years old, and they are a male because obviously Akshay is a male name. And then human 2 will be, let's name them Aditya. They will be 12 years old, and it will be he will be a male too. And human 3 will be a female, so let's name them Sakshi. These are all Indian names, by the way. Let's make her 40. No, let's make her 21 years old, female. You have a lot of unfinished projects in your GitHub. Yeah, you are right, and that's because I do not have a PC. So most of the projects which I pick up, the modules need a Windows computer. Like the one which I recently picked up, this Zen one, the one module which I used, it needs Windows operating system, and another project which I picked up, it needs voice access, and I did not have any of those because this is a GitHub code space, so that is why. But yeah, I have many finished projects too, like my own programming language, operating system simulator, and encryption algorithm. So those are pretty nice. Okay, so it is correct. Let's make a human 3 sleep. Okay, so gender. I don't think a gender is needed. Let's do you. Yeah, it is not needed. Like, let's remove the word gender from here and the word age. And it should work pretty fine too. Let's change this because obviously it is not needed. If gender equals to male, did you mean self.gender? Yeah, I did mean that. Let's try that now. A woman named Sakshi is sleeping. Let's make that 2. So it should be a man named Aditya is sleeping. Yeah. Let's make that 1. So it should be a man named Akshay is sleeping. Is the keyboard noise annoying, Special YT? Like the keyboard noise coming from the mic? Nope. That's good. Okay, so now Special YT, you tell me that next what kind of class should I make? We have done a dog, we have done a car, we have completed a human. A hospital. And inside the hospital, what attributes should we have? Like number of rooms, number of beds, or name, whether it is poor or not, kind of like that. Let's do this. Class hospital, and we will initialize this. Let's first of all give this hospital a name, and then we will do beds, like number of beds, and doctors, nurses, and that should be fine. Disease, cost, paid, loan, etc. Okay, sure. Disease, cost, paid, loan. Okay, so just a little reminder, I will end the stream in 15 minutes because it's 11:15. I will end it at 11:30, so in 15 minutes I will end the stream. Also, to everyone who is new here, I stream every day at the same time, which is 9:30 p.m. Indian time for those who are in India. And yeah, I also sleep at 1 p.m. Did you mean 1 a.m.? Something? Sorry, something not special. I just misread names and stuff. And we are gonna do self, a lot of typos there. Self dot paid equals to paid. I see. I mean, I end the stream at 11:30, but after that I scroll on Insta for long, like maybe same 1:30 or 2, depends. Def disease. Let's give the disease a name. Now print f string. A new disease has spread into the city. Next, let's create a hospital 1. and let's initialize it inside the class. Let's give it the disease. Self dot disease. Swagat Subeti. Brother, you are late. I mean, I'm not telling that you are late, but the problem is I'm gonna end the stream in like 15 minutes. I was in my friend's party. That's completely fine, brother. It's like everyone has their own life. I do not mind anything if you are late, but yeah, I will end the stream in like 15 or 20 minutes. 12 minutes. So I hope that is not an issue. Also, the stream was really lonely today for the first 1 hour until Special YT joined in. Thanks to him. Like, thanks to Special YT for not making me feel lonely. Sagat says, what are you making? I'm not making anything actually. So, I'm learning object-oriented programming in Python, which is like coding with the help of objects and stuff. Let's say the disease is malaria, and the cost to treat this is $100,000. I know OPS very well. I see. You are lucky, brother. Like, I'm just getting started on OPS. You know inheritance. No, I just started OPS today, so I am not qualified enough for this or for inheritance. So yeah, let's do the paid one as a boolean. Yeah, I know inheritance. You guys are pretty talented ones. Let's do the loan as 500. So disease will be, it will be a string, and then the cost will be an integer, and then paid will be boolean, the loan will be integer. Define it in your own words. It should work now. And what is this? Dot disease. What even is that? That's my definition and how that works. You guys are really talented, I'm telling you all. Let's remove this from here to see if it will work. And it's a string object is not callable. Okay. We have got to print this, I think. The problem here is disease name. So yeah, this is the same thing. Let's go ahead and change this. You guys are not a noob, I know. If anyone is a noob here, then that is me. Hey. Okay, we always do typos and it is not a new thing in my stream. So yeah. Self.disease name. a malaria, not a malaria. It should be just malaria. And then we got a malaria has spread into the city. I will wait for the moment when you get a PC. Sure, brother. Thank you so much. With the support of you guys, I think it will be soon that I will be able to get a PC. The first of all, before buying a PC, I won't get my first money to buy a PC. Obviously, it won't be enough. So I will repair my tablet's charging port, because every time I stream, the connection of the keyboard and mouse takes like 15 to 20 minutes, because I have to restart the tablet multiple times, and more often than not it is just a gamble, like it may connect or it may not connect. Everything depends on it. Like any one class has its own function or something stuff, and we want it in another class, so based on inheritance or for forever. That's pretty sweet of you guys. I'm really thankful, because I might have a small community, like not many people watch my streams, but those of who you guys are really nice. Like, it's definitely better than having a very big community which is toxic and all. Especially you came to support him for one day. No. He came many times. Like, he has come multiple times before, so I do remember him. Messages are not going sometimes. Must be due to the rate limit. I see his lives from a few days. Yeah, he sees. He is like almost a regular one. Anyways, let's create another one. Disease, and we are gonna say cost, and we are gonna give it the self argument, and we are gonna print self dot cost. Let's go ahead and do this. Like hospital 1 dot cost, string object is not bro, cost name. Let's do this. It should work now. Yeah, it works. Yeah, a better chat system will help. I mean, once I get a laptop or any any device on which I can stream, may it be a PC, may it be a laptop, then it will be a lot easier, because I will have a preview from my another, or maybe I will use this tablet as a screen to read the chats and all. Oh, don't mind. Oops are easy to learn. Ask GPT for questions and solve it. Never use it too much. I mean, first of all, I'm just trying to do stuff by myself, like experimenting. And once I learn some things and once I figure out things, then I'm gonna ask ChatGPT for questions. Never use it too much. Special, do you mean that never use ChatGPT too much? Because I also think that ChatGPT is a culprit, It is not fair for many people. For example, let's say people who are vibe coding on YouTube are getting more views than me sometimes. And here I am writing everything by hand. I mean, typing everything by hand, and they are just writing the prompt and then they are getting views, which is like sad, but you know, it should not be good. Yes, don't rely on it too much. Yeah, I don't rely on it too much. The background clicking noise which you hear right now is actually my Rubik's Cube. I am also a cuber if you guys have read my GitHub bio. I am a cuber, I am a photographer, I have multiple hobbies, so yeah. Okay, so we are done with the coding now. Let's do some chatting and stuff. Let's just talk for a while and then I will end the stream at the specified time, which is pretty fine, but I can extend the time for 5 to 10 minutes. Oh, I know. Yeah. Okay, so just a few days ago I tried installing Ubuntu in my Termux, but since I installed Termux from the Play Store, so it is not updated. So that is why I could not install it properly. If only I had the updated Termux from Chrome, then I will be able to. Can we make a Discord group where we make projects? I have a Discord server special. The link is in the description. I mean, we have our Discord group. Yeah, we do have it, and there are a lot of people. Server, yeah, server. The link is in the description. The link for the Discord server is in the description. I am okay. Bye. I am going. Okay, Saugat. No worries. Let me see you. Okay, sure. I will stream at 9:30 p.m. tomorrow, though. Like most likely, yeah. See you, Saugat. See you. Thanks for joining in today. See you, Saugat. Hope you have a great night ahead and a good sleep. I will join it. Yeah, sure. Thanks. I thought you were not aware that I will stream at 9:30. Okay, I will too. Thanks, Special. So, I think Special YT has joined our regular supporters club. I mean, we have a few people who join every day, who join my stream every day. So Special White is among those now. Congratulations, my friend. And yeah, thanks for joining in. Yeah. Yeah, so let me tell you again, for those who might not have noticed or those who have joined just now, I stream at 9:30 p.m. every day, Indian time. So if you wanna know what time it is in your country, then you can search it on Google. Like, you can definitely search it on Google, or if you want me to search, then drop your countries. Special, let me search for your country. 9:30 p.m. in Pakistan. It will be 11:30. Bro, it's the same. Oh, I see. Okay. No worries. Okay, yeah, it is the same. You are right. It is the same, definitely. Now let's go and check for Sogat. He is from Nepal. It is 9:15, yeah. Nepal is 15 minutes behind India, so that is the reason. Now I have a friend from Britain, so let's go ahead and search it for him. I think the time gap is 5 hours and 30 minutes. Yeah, 5 hours and 30 minutes behind India. So for them it will be 4:30. Now we are almost at the end of our session today. So what I like to end my every session is with a little bit of typing. So let's go ahead and do a few typing tests on monkey type. Last time what we did, it was like yesterday it was like 40 or 50, 60 words per minute. So let's see how much can we hit today. So let's start. It was a 44. I also love it. I have 30 words per minute. I have near about the same, I have near about the same. Like sometimes it peaks at 50 or 60, but on an average I have around 30 to 40. Let's try that again. This was 47, which was slightly better, but yeah, definitely less than yesterday. So you can see the raw typing speed was around 60 words per minute, but that's not what we consider. It peaked at around 65 words per minute, and I think I started with 85 words per minute. The starting was pretty fast. I was at 85 words per minute. So yeah, now we have done our 2 tests. Let's do one more. Off-plan person. It was 46 and the raw was 58, and the highest which we went was near about 96 words per minute. I tried it and 34 for me. Hey, 35 is not actually that bad, 35 is pretty nice. I myself average near about that 35 to 40 when I'm sitting on a bed, lol. I am also on a bed. Yeah. And I know one thing, that the posture matters a lot in this, like more than people think. Okay, so ACC more than you. What? ACC more than you. What does that mean, bro? I didn't understand that. So let's end the stream in 2 minutes as soon as the clock hits 11:40. You can see. Okay, so we got a call from our mom that I need to come and end the stream now because it's late. So yeah, let's end the stream. Okay, then see you next day. Sure, brother, sure. Bye bye. I'm ending the stream now. See you everyone tomorrow. And yeah, I stream every day at 9:30 p.m. So everyone must join tomorrow too, 9:30 p.m. And in case I do not stream, I just let you guys know by the community post. So yeah, bye bye. See you guys tomorrow. It was really nice talking to you guys. Thank you everyone for joining in. So yeah, goodbye, and I hope you have a great night ahead or great day ahead, depending upon your time zone. So yeah, bye bye. See you guys tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. Bye.